Hello friend, I am Professor S.D. Gade going to deliver a lecture on microwave measurement, in particular frequency and VSWR measurement. Now first we are going to see the microwave frequency measurement. Now there are the three methods of measuring a frequency directly or indirectly. Now one of the way is to measure a frequency by using a direct frequency meter. Now there are the two types of the frequency meter. One is the direct frequency meter, another is the indirect frequency meter. So we can measure the frequency directly. Normally this frequency meter are the cavity which takes power from the waveguide line through a slot, and at a resonance it absorbs a maximum power, and therefore the change in length of the cavity by rotating a knob, and hence the resonant frequency. Then when a signal frequency, a microwave frequency and a cavity resonant frequencies are equal, we get a dip in a VSWR meter, and this shows that there will be a maximum absorption of energy by the cavity, and hence a calibrated drum or a microwave reading gives the frequency of the signal. Now the place at which we get a dip in a VSWR meter, that particular reading is nothing but a reading of a frequency meter, and this method will give plus minus 1% of error. Now next method of frequency is slotted line method. So in this method of measurement of wavelength or frequency in a waveguide is made first, and from that the frequency is determined. A tunable resonator is required for this method, which has a known relation between a physical dimension and the frequency. For example, the absorption wave meter, the standing wave patterns appear only when the slotted line is terminated by a short circuit. The position of two adjacent nulls are accurately positioned in the two steps. Now first, moving the probe along with the slotted line and read the positions of null in the vernier scale. Now the two minimum positions are separated by a half guide wavelength, that is lambda g by 2, where lambda g is nothing but a guide wavelength, and the free space wavelength, that denoted as lambda 0, that becomes equals to c by f, and from this we can find out the value of frequency, that is f equals to c by lambda 0. The guided wavelength in air-filled rectangular waveguide is given as lambda g equals to lambda 0 upon under root 1 minus lambda 0 by lambda c whole square, and from this we can find out the value of lambda 0 as 1 upon lambda 0 will become equals to under root of 1 upon lambda g square plus 1 upon lambda c square. Now the slotted line section is used to measure the two null points, so where the V minimum is 0 or minimum. Now these are the 2 points, that is adjacent to point where the value of voltage is minimum, and that point is nothing but D1 and D2. Now these two readings are taken from the slotted line section, and these adjacent null points are separated by lambda g by 2. The distance between the successive minima lambda g by 2 equals to d2 minus d1, the difference of two null point of slotted line section. Now for the dominant mode, we know that the lambda c, that is cutoff wavelength, will be equals to twice a, where a is nothing but a broader dimension of rectangular waveguide, and therefore c becomes equals to, the f becomes equals to c by lambda 0, which is equals to c under root of 1 upon lambda g square plus 1 upon lambda c square. So where f is a microwave frequency in hertz, where c is the speed of light, lambda 0 is a free space wavelength, lambda g is nothing but guide wavelength, and lambda c is nothing but cutoff wavelength. So from this we are going to find the value of frequency. Now next and third method of frequency measurement is electronic technique. Now we are going to see the VSWR measurement. The VSWR will stand for voltage standing wave ratio. Now in a perfectly matched system, there is no variation in the field strength along the waveguide. A mismatch leads to the reflected wave, and therefore leading to a formation of standing wave radial waves along the length of the guide. And these standing waves are the indications of the quality of transmission. Now if the VSWR will be equals to 1 for a perfectly matched system, the ratio of maximum to minimum voltage will give you a VSWR. Now VSWR can be given as Vmax divided by Vminimum, or Vmax, that VSWR will be equals to 1 plus rho divided by 1 minus rho. So where rho is a reflection coefficient, and therefore the rho can be expressed as VSWR minus 1 upon VSWR plus 1. A typical setup of microwave measurement is shown in this particular microwave bench setup. Now we are going to classify the measurement of VSWR as low VSWR and high VSWR. Now first we are going to see the measurement of low VSWR, that is the VSWR will be less than 10. The VSWR meter will directly display this value. The attenuation has to be adjusted to give a full scale of reading on VSWR meter, and then the minimum reading of the meter is obtained by adjusting the probe of a slotted line, and thus VSWR is defined as the ratio of first reading to the second reading. The meter can be calibrated in terms of VSWR. Now this is a microwave bench setup for this klystron power supply. Now this will give the supply to a klystron tube. Then we are having an isolator. So isolator will be included so that the no reflections from the waveguide to the back side will be possible. Then we are having a frequency meter. Now this frequency meter will be used to resonate a given microwave frequency. Then we are having a variable attenuator to change the value of variable or attenuation. Then we are having a slotted line section, then a unit under test, and then load, or directly we can connect it is to a match load. Then we are having a crystal detector to taken out the microwave signal out of the slotted line, and it is fed to a VSWR meter. Now here the attenuation is going to be adjusted so that the traveling probes gives a maximum deflection on VSWR meter. The VSWR of 1 corresponds to the full scale deflection, that is 10 millivolt in meter. By adjusting the traveling probes, the minimum reading can also be obtained from the VSWR meter, and then we can calculate the value of this VSWR as Vmax divided by Vminimum. Now next, the measurement of a high VSWR, where the value of VSWR will be greater than 10, using a calibrated attenuator. Now we have seen here a typical setup, micro bench setup, using a calibrated attenuation. So here we are having a klystron power supply, then klystron tube with a mount, then isolator, then frequency meter, then variable attenuator, then slotted line section, then load, now crystal detector, and then this is fed to the VSWR meter. Now we are going to move the probe carriage along the slotted line for voltage minima and adjust the attenuator to give a convenient reading on a VSWR meter, and by noting the value of attenuator, that is alpha 1 dB. So alpha 1 becomes equals to 20 log of 10 E minimum. Again we are going to move the probe carriage along the slotted line section for a voltage maxima. The change in the attenuation so that the indication meter is same as the voltage minima case, and note the attenuation reading, that is alpha 2 dB. So alpha 2 becomes equals to 20 log 10 E max. Now taking a difference of this alpha 2 minus alpha 1, that is 20 log to the base 10 E max divided by E minimum. This will becomes equals to 20 log to the base 10 rho, or from this we are going to find out the value of rho, that is the anti-log of alpha 2 minus alpha 1 divided by 20. And from this we are going to find out the value of VSWR. The VSWR become equals to at in terms of a reflection coefficient, that is VSWR becomes equals to 1 plus rho upon 1 minus rho. So likewise we are going to find out the value of VSWR. Now next method is a double minima method. A VSWR greater than 10 can be measured by the double minimum method. So in this method, a probe is inserted into the slotted line section and the minimum values can be easily read. The probe should move to a point where the power is twice the minimum, that is P minimum becomes equals to 2 V square minimum divided by RL, and therefore P minimum becomes equals to 2P. So at this particular position, and then again the probe is moves twice the power point on the other side of the minima, say D2. So likewise we are going to measure D1 and D2. So this is a voltage, and where we are having a V minimum, and this is under root 2 V minimum. So we are taking these 2 point, reading these 2 point. Then we know that for a dominant TE mode of rectangular waveguide, the relation between the lambda 0 free space wavelength, lambda g that is guide wavelength, and lambda c that is cutoff wavelength can be expressed as 1 upon lambda 0 square equals to 1 upon lambda g square plus 1 upon lambda c square. And the value of lambda c becomes equals to twice a for a dominant mode, and the value of lambda 0 becomes equals to c by f, and where the value of lambda g becomes equals to lambda 0 upon under root of 1 minus lambda 0 upon lambda c square. And by the VSWR we can calculate using a formula, that is VSWR becomes equals to lambda g divided by pi d2 minus d1. So thank you. Like, subscribe, and please press bell icon. Thank you.